Good morning, everybody. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. And good morning, Instagram. Oh my gosh, it is Thursday morning. I am actually excited today. It is pouring rain outside, but the rain means we are finally going to get rid of this snow that has been lurking in St. Louis for it feels like 7 months. Really, the snow has been here for about 7 months in St. Louis. And so I am so glad it is raining today because it means all of this snow, all this dirty snow and ice that's been accumulating here is finally gone. So it's happy. All right. Good morning. I see folks checking in from all over. We're going to start as we always do. Today might be an interesting day, just given all the rain that we have. How many planes do you think we're going to hear today? Paula's going to keep us honest. She will listen for them. I mean, it's kind of rainy outside, so I don't know how many people are going to be flying their personal planes. So Paula will keep track of those numbers for us. Let us know if you guys think, how many you think will come. So good morning. I see Terry. I see Jan. I see Kate. I see Savannah. Good morning, everybody. Savannah says one plane. I think Savannah's probably pretty close. I think one plane will be it. All right. We're going to start, as we do every week, with questions that have been submitted by you guys. Go to cottoncuts.com/live to submit a question. These are sitting here when I sit down each time, and who knows what could be on the paper. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Rachel, it is 78 degrees in Florida. Oh my gosh. Except for the fact you guys had snow a couple weeks ago, I would take 78 in a heartbeat. Instead, I am cheering because it is 48 degrees for our high today, and that is a big win. Okay. All right. So first question comes to us from Rachel McCallum from Brooker, Florida. Oh my gosh, Rachel, I think that might be you. If it is, let us know. So Rachel is asking, is there any chance at Crimsonet being restocked? Okay. So Crimsonet, guys, is gone. I know I hate to say that, but Crimsonet is gone. We've gone back to the manufacturer many times. We've had them check their shelves. We've had them go back again. It is Rachel. Oh, congratulations. This is your question. We've had them go back many times. We have pulled as many tricks out of the hat as we can. We've even looked at possibly taking the fabric that they're short and finding a substitute and coming up with the Crimsonet version 2. But that can't be done either because they're low on so many of the other fabrics. And so, as we said when we started Flyaway, we knew there were going to be some colorways that were going to sell out and be gone for good. And unfortunately, Crimsonet is one of them. However, we still have a ton. Freebird came back into stock last week. I think it has maybe a day or two more. So if you are on the fence about signing up, guys, get your orders in. We're going to cut off the prepaids that make the first shipment on Friday. So you can still sign up if you want to prepay next week. But next week, our team has to focus on getting the month-to-months out. So if you sign up at the end of next week, you're going to be a little bit late getting yours. That is totally fine. We will get them out to you as fast as we possibly can. More on that in a minute. So yes, Rachel, I'm sorry to break your heart. Crimsonet is unfortunately gone. That one, I think it was like maybe a week before it sold out, but it is a very pretty fabric. I can literally see it behind the camera over here. I'm looking at it. That red, that wine color red is beautiful. If you are a Crimsonet detective, you are very lucky. So thank you guys so much for signing up for that colorway. And Rachel, thank you so much for your question. I appreciate that. All right, Hillary Davenport from Lawrence, Kansas has asked, I loved your show last week about sewing pillows. Oh gosh, thank you. I am currently sewing the Tim Holtz blocks and wanted to also sew a coordinating pillow. How do those come? Do I have to sew all the colors? When will the new colors be released? Okay, I feel like there's 5 questions in there. So let's take them one at a time. So the Tim Holtz program, for those of you that might not know, it's a program that we partner with Free Spirit on. Free Spirit did this for a bunch of quilt shops, and they took the Tim Holtz fabrics and they recolorized them in 12 different colors throughout a whole year. And so each month is a color theme. So our first month was pink, then red, then orange. Our next month will be yellow, and then neutrals and green. And it goes throughout a whole calendar year. And so a lot of quilt shops did okay, you can get a fat quarter bundle of these fabrics or a half yard or yard. We chose to do pre-cut block of the month. We also chose to do a pillow kit, and we chose to do a stitch it kit. So what are all of those things, and what does that all mean? So it sounds like Hillary is in our block of the month. So what happens is each month she gets pre-cut parts and pieces to make 3 of these blocks. And so this is the orange block that was made by members of our team here. And there's no real, the pattern is how to sew it, but you guys get to pick the layout and where it goes. And so in this case, she has chosen to stitch them this way. And all the blocks that I've shown you guys, I choose to pair up my fabrics to make them more diamonds. but this is a choose your own adventure. You get enough fabric to make 3 of these blocks. You can make the Sawtooth Star. I have seen in our Tim Holtz Palette Facebook group, which is, if you're not in, definitely sign up to join. I've seen people just take these parts and shuffle them up and make their own blocks and just be inspired by the pre-cut pieces and be able to play. And so this is what the block of the month is. You get enough to make 3 blocks. And so you can see here's 1, here's 2. This one actually on the camera, it has some interesting arrows that are popping out. I do like the way those fabrics are laid out. So again, some different take. It's still a Sawtooth Star, but the fabrics pop differently. And then here's the one, like what I was describing, where the fabrics are paired and they make diamonds and arrows. If you're in that Facebook group, you've seen lots of different designs. Now, this is the block of the month. So every month we're going to ship you parts and pieces to make these blocks that you see here. Now, our pillow kits give you enough fabric to make something this big. So it's large. It is an oversized pillow. I am actually sewing these and I'm going to put them into a quilt. I've seen other people in the Facebook group that are doing the same. And I've even seen someone take these pre-cut parts and pieces and cut them in half to make 2 smaller pillows. So all of these are fantastic ideas and things that can be done with these fabrics. Now, when you get the pillow kit, we give you more fabric than you need. Because there's 10 prints, there might be 1 or 2 that you're not so in love with. We have that in the shop. Every time the 10 prints come in, we kind of rate them and see which one we like. But there might be 1 or 2 prints that you don't like, so you don't have to use them. We don't want to give you just enough fabric so you feel forced to use these prints. We want to be able to give you a choice in which fabrics you use. And perhaps if you keep all those extra parts and pieces, you might be able to make another pillow or another block at the end. That might be a fun little add-on of all the leftover parts and pieces. So perhaps we flip our mindset on that. And instead of not including the fabric you don't like, you don't include the fabrics you really like, and then you can use those at the end. So I'm seeing some questions. I love the vintage map and poster prints. Yes, the postage prints, those are always our favorites. Those are always on the top. Can you still get January's kit box? So you can get, so January's color was orange. That is the one I showed you. The block of the month, you'll have to do all the months to get caught up to orange. We can do that if you want to sign up today. You can definitely get January pillows and then January stitchets. So our stitchets are going to be just play pieces. We're going to cut a whole bunch of fabric and send it to you guys, and you can play and just have fun with all of these vintage graphic prints. I'm seeing some comments about loving the mushroom fabric in the orange set. Yeah, that was a surprise for all of us. Let me see if I can find a good example of what the orange fabric, the mushroom fabric was. So there's a lot of botany in this one. So you guys can see the mushroom fabric that's there and a lot of the florals. This one is kind of a catalog of numbers of different floral fabrics. And so, yes. And then the oversized, you can appreciate the fabric better. That is absolutely a fantastic point. With the larger prints, you can see more of it better. And so if you do like that, if you're one of those ones you want it in just a small bite-sized piece, then definitely the block of the month is better suited. So let me come back to the question, because I feel like I went down a path to get here. So that's how the pillows come. You don't have to sew all the colors. You can pick and choose. You can pick and choose layout. You don't even have to do the Sawtooth Star. The folks in the Facebook group are coming up with different designs with all, I mean, basically we're sending you a bunch of triangles. So you can really do a lot of things with triangles. When will the new colors be released? So the next color is going to be yellow. That's going to be next week, guys. We're trying to get through a lot of the flyaway. So give us next week. We will have yellow, neutral, and green out at the same time. There will be something slightly different with yellow. We're going to go with a slightly darker background and see how that plays. The yellow fabrics, when we put them against any sort of cream or neutral, they just kind of blend. And then I said yellow, neutral, green. It's hard to come up with a neutral to go against the neutral fabrics we have that doesn't make them just kind of blend. So we definitely want to have some measure of contrast, but we don't want it to be these odd blocks with dark background while others have lights. It is going to be lovely. It is going to be fantastic. And we're going to make it all work together. But just so you guys aren't surprised when those come out. Let's see here. And don't forget to grab your pillows and stitchets when those drop. They will be on the website, as well as your border boost kits. A lot of people are getting the background boost kits for these because they want more background fabrics to be able to make more creations. All right, I think that's everything I have for Tim Holtz. All right, if you guys have any questions, just drop them in and I will answer them as we go. Don't forget, if you want to submit a question for next week's show, go to cottoncuts.com/live. I will answer them live on the show and we will see where we go. Let's see here. Rachel's asking about our new cutting machine. Let's come back to that. Let's come back to that when I get to the updates in the shop. So go to cottoncuts.com to submit your question /live, submit your question for next week. I see lots of folks have given StreamYard your permission if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, so that way we can see your name. And stay to the end because we're going to give away, as always, a $25 gift card to our shop for asking a fantastic question. Today we're going to talk about AI. And we actually put AI to a quilting test. And so you guys are going to want to hang out for that. Dominic and I had a ridiculous amount of fun playing with the AI pattern that was generated. And I want to show you guys the results. All right. Oh, and don't forget to like and share this video. All right. So what's happening in the shop this week? So there is a lot of die cutting going on. I feel like I say that every week. Like, of course we're die cutting. That's kind of what we do. And so as Rachel's mentioned, we have a new die cutting machine. And so we have a super large rotary press. And so up until now, we've had about 6 manual crank die cutters, and we can cut about 8 to 10 layers of fabric at a time. And it has been great and it keeps us busy, but it was time for us to upgrade. We needed to look at increasing our efficiency. And so this is a brand new machine. So Terry, I'm going to have to get Paula to help me with that question. So this is a brand new machine. And the way that it works is we hit a button and it pulls the dies through. And then we take the parts and pieces out, and then we hit the button and it pulls the die through and cuts all of these fabrics. And where before we could cut 8 to 10 layers of fabric, we're now cutting 16 to 20 layers of fabric on a die that's like this big, as opposed to our first dies, which were about that big. And so we are getting just so many more parts and pieces through. I'm wondering, Paula has been filming a ton of videos, so I'm sure you guys will see Rosie. Rosie is what we named her. There'll be videos coming tomorrow showing Rosie in action. And so we named her Rosie because our logo is named Rosa. And so we figured Rosie is it niece? Is that what we decided? Cousin? Sure. So there is some relation between Rosie and Rosa. So Rosie is in Rosie the Riveter. And so, yes. And so it's been fun. We actually, yes. So Terry, so we've been putting pictures on social media. Video will come tomorrow night. We actually are going to get 2 of these. So right now we have 1. It is a brand new piece of equipment. They are just starting to make these. The piece we actually have is a demo piece. They're actually scaling up manufacturing to start selling these to other companies. We're one of the first companies. And so I'm giving them feedback as to how it's working and how things are going. And yeah, it's been awesome. And so we today are using it on our old dies and we're cutting more on those. It is going to change the way we do things. And of course, with everything, quality is the foundation of everything we do. And so we're measuring parts and pieces. We went through a whole validation. We burned through a lot of solid orange and green fabric. I feel really bad that these fabrics had to get sucked into the machine to be tested, but we wanted to make sure it was cutting consistently and that there would be no quality problems. That's important to me, guys, is to make sure that, yes, we're upgrading our equipment, make sure that we can continue to meet all the awesome projects we want to do, but they're also maintaining the quality delivered to you guys. Now, on that note, you guys have tissue paper in your upcoming kit. That's just because of the new process. We're putting tissue paper in there. We're going to try and get a lot of it out. We're going to miss some, guys. If you get a piece of triangular tissue paper, it's not the end of the world. It'll be absolutely okay. All right. So yes, so we're doing lots of flyaway die cutting. Don't forget, if you want to prepay and participate in flyaway, let's see here. Didn't green too much. Jan, I don't know what that means. If you could add too much, what that means. Okay. Sorry. You guys are super active on the chat. I'm going to just not look at the chat and let Paula flag me if there's something to talk about. All right. So we're doing flyaway. So if you want to prepay, the last day to sign up is going to be next Friday. We will still have month-to-month memberships for 2 months, guys. So if you missed the deadline, or perhaps your you're late to sign up, or you see a colorway that you didn't get in on, you can still sign up from month to month after that. We just have to cut off the prepaid. It takes a lot of people to package all 10 clues at once. And if we have to stop to die cut small parts and pieces, it does take a long time. So we're cutting off the prepaids this time with clue 1, but you can definitely still sign up month to month and pay monthly. That is definitely still going to be an option and a very viable way to go. All right, let's see here. Call her Rosie. Tim Holtz, we've already talked about. Orange blocks. We have the orange blocks here that I showed you guys, these awesome Tim Holtz blocks. The yellow is going to be shipping probably in about 2 weeks. It is delayed at the manufacturer. I feel like I'm becoming a broken record. There was a crate that was lost that has all of our fabric on it. And so as soon as it comes in, our team will turn that around and get the yellows out to you guys as soon as we possibly can. Floral States. So we're going to come back to Floral States. That's actually one of the blocks that Dominic and I tested for the AI project, for the artificial intelligence projects. And so the next 5 states, 41 to 45, I keep getting lost in this project because we're not clues. So it's not clue 1, 2, 3, and 4. But our next 5 states, so states 41 to 45, will be shipping in about 2 weeks' time to you guys. And then be on the lookout for a final reveal showcase in March when we get to all of those borders and all the setting on point or setting on a grid and all the finishing fabrics. It is all coming, and it is coming very fast. And I am excited to see all this come together. All right. Our new Cuddle Books are out for February. And so the Cuddle Books, if you guys remember, is a program where we have book panels. We send you out an email with your choice of 1 of 3 panels. You pick which one you want, and that's the one we mail it to you for this month. And so the 3 choices that we have, I wanted to show them to you. Dawn and Cheryl on my team sew these each month for us, and they just do a fantastic job. And so with the kit, you get the book panel, which you get to sew together. Dominic made 3 of these, cut them out and stitched them together. And we put ribbon, we give you enough pieces. And so look at all these like cute, stinking cute little car ribbons that are in here that go with the car book. And we always give you a piece of crinkle to put in this little extensible attachment. So I Dig You is our automobiles one. We always have one that's kind of automobile mechanical, and then one that's more love-based. And so this says, "You're my little sweet pea." And so this one has on every page, you can see kind of this piece connects to the book. So as you turn the page, it connects together. So stinking cute. Make a great pair. We're cute. Yeah. Make sure that your pair, right, is so stinking cute. And all these little like ribbons and ties. And then we always do an animal-based one. And so this one we chose the "I love you even when you're crabby." And so it goes into, different kind of, sometimes you wake up in a crabby way. I mean, kids have emotions, right? And so this is a great way to get them talking about their feelings and how you still love them, even if they are being crabby. We all have, those of us that have had children completely understand. My 14-year-old could probably read this book. Yeah, I love you even when you're crabby. So maybe I should have Lincoln read this one today. All right. So those are our Cuddle Books. Those are going to ship next week, guys. That is a ton of fun. That's kind of a little bonus project we put in there. And if you've got, loved ones in your life that could benefit from this, we have it like, every month, every other month, or every quarter. And you get your choice of 1 of 3 amazing books. All right. This is my favorite time of the year. So at the end of January, we always recognize those folks that have participated in our Color Challenge project for the full year. So each time we mail out anything from Cotton Cuts, be it a subscription, be it a puzzle mystery quilt, be it a one-time order, we always include a Color Challenge card. And so on one side, it's a simple block. On the other side, it's a coloring grid. And every month we give prizes if you stitch a block or if you color a block. And then at the end of the year, we actually give a prize. We give a gift certificate to everyone that makes a quilt. And so this is an example of what this month's block is. And so here's a pinwheel block. Here's the instructions on how to sew and make it. And on the back is a coloring grid. And so we give you till the end of January to submit. If you've sewn all 12 months, everyone gets a $50 gift certificate. And so we like that. If you've done all 12 months of the color block challenge, if you have all of them together, we've been seeing these pictures pop up in our Facebook group. And so Robin from my team has compiled everyone's quilt tops, and she's created a blog post. So if you want to see what people have done and be inspired, we have a lot of people that make these blocks in different ways. So sometimes they'll buy a stitch it at the beginning of the year and actually make these blocks from their stitch its. Sometimes they will buy solids and they will challenge themselves to use every single piece of the solid to make the block each month. And sometimes they go completely scrappy and just make up, and it's beautiful quilts. They're amazing. It's 12 blocks that come together. And so every single person that finished it's going to get a $50 gift certificate. Definitely check out our Facebook group or the blog that showcases all of them. It's going to be out this weekend. All right. There's still so much. Our Java bundles arrived. These are hot off the press, guys. So these are our Java bundles for the month of February. Of course, they are seasonally themed, so they are pink. And so we've got lots of super cute red and pink fabrics in here. With the shipment, they gave us a pattern to inspire. This is just kind of showing how the fabrics could be used together with hearts, of course. You would have to add a neutral because there's no white in this. But yeah, that's a potential pattern that could be used to make. Obviously, we're going into February, so everything's very Valentine's themed. These bundles ship on the 10th. So unless you're like a super speedy quilter cutter, you're probably not going to get it for this year's Valentine's Day, but you can definitely get it in time for next year. I mean, really, love should be every month, not just February. I know I keep hearing like February 14th is the most romantic day. Like, it should be every day, but the 14th is a good reminder that that's when we should be celebrating. Last up, don't forget our retreat signups. We're going to New Orleans. We're going to Napa. Dominic is probably going to be coming for both of these. We've got Juicy Juice joining us for our New Orleans retreat. New Orleans is near and dear to my heart. It's where I went to school. I love New Orleans. I cannot wait to go there for a week. And we're going to Napa for 4 days. So I think Napa is pretty close to almost, I think we're about 60 to 70% sold out of Napa. So if you want to go to Napa, get in on that. Everyone that's reached out to us about problems with the month, we're going to start calling you tomorrow, and we're going to work through that registration for you to get you all signed up and ready to go. All right. That is everything that is happening in the shop. So now we get to talk about a new topic, today's topic. So today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. And so I know that this is a big topic. And like with all of these, this is about this much of the topic. And it's enough to just give you some confidence and comfort to be able to go find more resources to learn more if this is something that pleases your fancy. And so it became topical for us when ChatGPT, kind of the forefront of the current wave of artificial intelligence, launched the ability to upload images. And so our team for the past couple weeks has been playing with uploading an image and having ChatGPT tell us to write a pattern to make that block and to make that quilt. And so what I want to do, we tested that. I don't want to go to that. I want to give you guys a little bit more background to make you, to make sure we're all aware of what ChatGPT is, what it does. If you haven't used it, to give you a little more confidence to try it. There's a lot of fear with artificial intelligence, and I get that. But there's a lot of negatives that have come out of ChatGPT. But by and large, ChatGPT has been positive for me, and it's been positive for the things we've done here at Cotton Cuts. And so I want to give you guys a little bit of a background. So a lot of people think AI is new, right? It's something that it just evolved into the main stage, which is true. It just evolved onto the main stage, but it is not a new technology. AI has been in development since the 50s and 60s. And I feel like the early development of AI is what was the catalyst for all the Terminator movies, which is really when machines start taking over the world. And I feel like that's part of the contributing fear when we talk about AI is we've all seen these movies where the machines take over the world. But that's not necessarily true. It's really just machine learning and teaching computers to learn from data to synthesize data into a digestible format. There's no thinking, there's no emotion. It is very much just regurgitating stuff that already exists in a different format. That's what artificial intelligence does. And it does it very, very, very fast, which is part of the beauty of ChatGPT. And so in November of 2022 is when ChatGPT hit the main stage. And so ChatGPT started out as primarily a text prompt AI interface, and anyone could access ChatGPT. And you would log in and you would ask a question, and the computer would respond back to you. It would synthesize a whole bunch of data and respond back to you. And I will admit, I was one of the first users of ChatGPT. I heard a podcast about it, and I was one of the first people to jump on the ChatGPT bandwagon. ChatGPT had 1 million users in 5 days. I think I was probably one of those. I jumped on really quickly, and it had hundreds of millions in 2 months. It's simple. It's a website. You log into the website and there's the prompt, and it's asking you what you need to know. In parallel with ChatGPT, another software called Dolly was also launched. Dolly doesn't get as much limelight as ChatGPT does. So while ChatGPT is a text-based artificial intelligence generator, Dolly is an image-based generator. And so I want to talk about Dolly for a little bit before we go back to ChatGPT, because we use Dolly, I would say not super frequently, but we've used it in the past. And so Dolly is an image generation AI software. And what you can do is type in a prompt and say, come up with a quilting image in the form of graffiti. And it'll generate 5 images of quilting images that are in a spray paint graffiti format for you. You can then say, generate a quilting image in sepia that would be used in the 1950s. Generate a pencil sketch, generate a black and white outline, generate a quilting image in a forest that's photorealistic. And so this is an image generator that will, depending on your prompts, submit either artwork to you, it'll submit photos to you, or it'll submit clip art to you. And so these are all generated by artificial intelligence. And I would say we've used some of these photos. In November 2022, we were launching the Gnome project. And I'm going to come back to that for ChatGPT. But I needed images of boy and girl gnomes that were color themed. So our January gnomes were blue and white. And I used Dolly and I said, generate a fun graphic with a boy and a girl gnome in a blue setting. And it gave me 5 images, one of which was on our website. And it was a boy and girl gnome in ski hats on a mountain. And it was stinking cute. And it is something that, like, I could have searched the internet for years and not found that. I could have, and this is where it gets scary, right? I could have paid an artist to have generated that, but that would have been, 6 to a 9 month project. But here, the computer was able to generate it for me in about 3 seconds. And so this is where Dolly as an image generator helps us, but it also hurts us, right? Because it's not using the creatives that exist in the world today. And this is where some of the copyright challenges come in. This image was unique. It was not something that, it swiped off a website. It is definitely something that is one of a kind and unique, but it wasn't done by a human. And so that's where some of these image generation challenges come, is because we're not using people to generate these images. That's not to say that this would displace humans' work, right? Our logo was generated by a person, right? There are many, many places for creatives in this world. It's just, we had a need, we had a specific need, and we were able to get the image that we needed with the software that was in place. Now, where these image generations fall apart, and we have seen this on social media, is whenever you try to characterize a human. Getting facial features is really, really, really hard for artificial intelligence. Getting hands is very, very hard for artificial intelligence. When we have tried this to generate people with sewing machines, the sewing machines are always backwards. Or the sewing machines are like sewing through a table. Or the people have 3 arms as they're using their sewing machines. And so this is a huge limitation of a visual generator AI system, is an inability to capture the human form. It's just because when it's scrubbing data, people look different, right? That it's hard to generate a human image for artificial intelligence because we all look so different and because we're all in different settings. And it's not smart enough to know the way a sewing machine is actually supposed to be used in real life. Savannah is saying hands are one of the hardest things to draw in real life. You are not wrong. You would think with the number of photos that exist on the internet, you'd be able to get 5 fingers, but it's just something it cannot categorize it very well when it's generating an image. So if you see an image online, it's becoming almost easier to find the AI images of people because they look just a little different. Now, I have seen companies use AI images on Facebook for quilted projects. And I look at it, I'm like, that's AI. You can't physically make that. That cannot be made. And so there are companies doing blog posts on images on quilted products on how to spot if it's real or not. And so there's fantastic resources on that. Don't necessarily trust that if you see an image on Facebook, it is a real project that someone has stitched, because it could be something that a computer stitched together and actually is being posted on their social media and on their websites. So just use that centimeter. It's not something to be afraid of. It's not something to be scared of. It's just something that, you know, if it doesn't look quite right, then it probably isn't, because they're using software like Dolly to generate these images. If you guys haven't played with Dolly, I would suggest getting in there and typing in a couple prompts. I think you get 10 images for free now. It is a great resource, just like, hey, I have this idea, and it could be a catalyst for you to be able to give more information to go find other images. I would suggest just logging in and trying it and see what pops out. Now let's come back to ChatGPT. So I was one of the first people on board in November 2022. In the beginning, everyone used it just for kicks and giggles and laughs. It's like, hey, come up with the song that, you know, by Taylor Swift that narrates the story of my life in iambic pentameter, right? And it was just putting in all these prompts just to have kind of fun and make a game with it. Dominic and I, Dolly, DALL-E, Doll-E is the name of the image generator. And so Dominic, we made a companion video to this of Dominic and I sewing this block, and he tells his first ChatGPT experience where he created kid stories for gifts that he was giving to his cousins using ChatGPT. And so I was playing with it and I was like, okay, I'm going to test this. We're launching a Gnome of the Month block of the month. I bet you I'm going to trip up this system. And so I typed in a prompt and I said, you know, come up with a website description for a 12-month quilting block of the month featuring gnomes that are seasonally coordinated for a company called Cotton Cuts. And I thought for sure it had no idea what quilting, block of the month, how it was going to integrate gnomes. And I hit enter. And within 2 seconds, it generated a website description that was 3 paragraphs long that was almost perfect. It got us 80% of the way to what we actually ended up using for our website. And my mind was completely blown. I was a believer from that point on. I touted it to all my friends. And what I always say is whenever you put a prompt into ChatGPT, it's going to get you 80% of the way there, because the machine is not a human. It does not have emotion and feeling. It can get you really close, but you should never, ever, ever take anything out of an AI bot and use it verbatim. You've got to apply a human element to it because it is not always perfect. And so it's interesting because even the company itself says that ChatGPT can give plausible sounding but incorrect or nonsensical answers, and that leads to a lot of the negative interpretations with using an AI bot like ChatGPT with respect to bias, misrepresentation, copyright infringement. And so you can type in prompts, but it doesn't know what cultural sensitivity it is. It doesn't know what bias is. It doesn't know, in some cases, how history happened versus how it's been written. And so in those cases, that's it. You have to apply the human element. Now, with all of that said, a lot of my friends in our business unit, they have trained their ChatGPTs to speak in their business voice. And so to do that, they've uploaded documents, they've uploaded websites. And so now whenever they ask ChatGPT to help them, ChatGPT knows the voice, knows the nomenclatures. I bet you if we trained our ChatGPT that we use here, that ChatGPT would start using Rosie, the name of our machine, and everything. Yes. So Paul is saying we have. So our ChatGPT here knows our logo is named Rosa, and it knows that our new machine is named Rosie. And so it's going to start, whenever we ask it for a prompt for ideas and inspiration, it's going to start using those things because we've trained the AI to be customized for Cotton Cuts. All right. So let me take a look and see my notes because I want to get to the fun part, which is where Dominic and I broke ChatGPT. Okay. Right. So we use it here at Cotton Cuts. I would say for the next mystery for Flyaway, we've been talking about doing a mystery within a mystery. And so Dominic and I used ChatGPT. We put in a prompt and said, come up with 20 quilting themed locations and a funny, punny description of each that's quilting related. And you guys are going to see this it's not actually creating the mystery that we're using, but it's creating the locations for the mystery, and it is funny. And yes, Dominic and I could have come up with that, and it would have taken us a long time, but when we had more fun with the prompts and seeing what ChatGPT would spit out to us, then and we're going to create the mystery. It's going to be fun, but seeing the prompts and some of the funny locations it came out with, and even coming up with what are the top most dangerous quilting tools that could be used in a crime, and give us a punny description of each. And it was hysterical. It was a lot of fun. So that is a practical use of ChatGPT. Now, if you're going in there, and I would never use ChatGPT for like a history lesson. I've used it for different applications, but it's not something that kids should use in school because of all the plagiarism, because of all the problems there. Again, it's 80%. Nobody should ever copy anything out of ChatGPT directly and use it. You have to look at it, you have to read it, and it has to make sense to you. All right, just recently, ChatGPT has launched this feature that lets you upload an image. And so we were like, well, if you can upload an image, let's test it and see how close ChatGPT can get to actually writing quilt patterns, right? So now we're bumping up against pattern designing, which is very much a copyrighted protected. There's a lot of pattern writers out there. Can ChatGPT do what those people are capable of doing? And so we did a couple of test runs, and when it spit out the pattern, at first glance, I was like, wow, this is actually kind of good. I skimmed it and I was like, this might actually be a thing. This might actually work because it looks really good. And so last night, Dominic and I uploaded this block into ChatGPT. So this is our very, very first Floral States block. This is month 1. This is Delaware, the first state in the union. And we uploaded this block. And we said, write us a quilt pattern to make this block. Now, because we've been playing with it, we learned we needed to tell ChatGPT that we wanted it to finish 8 inches square. And so we uploaded this pattern, and we said, make sure it finishes 8 inches square. If we didn't do that, it would make it a different size. So we wanted to give it some constraints when it told us how to cut the blocks out. And so it spit out a pattern, a quilt pattern, and it was very text-based. And at the bottom, it said, would you like more detailed instructions with respect to pressing instructions? And Dominic and I said, yes, please. And then it spit out a beautiful, there was a table for cutting instructions on how to make this block with step-by-step, and press here and press there. It looks amazing. And then it said, would you like a pressing diagram? And Dominic and I were like, yes, we want a pressing diagram. And that's where ChatGPT stopped. It could not generate this pressing diagram for us. And we gave it time. And we're going to actually get that chat script and post it for you guys to actually see what we used. Now, Dominic and I sat and we made a video. So there's going to be a companion video to today. And we followed step by step the instructions that ChatGPT gave us to make this block. And we had a rule at the beginning that you have to have common quilting knowledge, right? That cut your threads, that type of thing, that put right sides together. So when we approached it, we said you have to have common quilting knowledge. And we cut it, and he read the instructions, I sewed, he ironed, and I have to show you the block that we made when we followed these instructions. Now, mind you, if you watch the video, we did have to say we wanted to make sure we preserved the pinwheel. So in this, we wanted to make sure we kept that pinwheel element in the middle because the block that we actually made was this. And so this is, when we followed the instructions, the block that ChatGPT told us to make. Right. And so it's funny. You have to watch the video. It is amazing. There's no fabric here, guys. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. And it doesn't even have all the elements to it. And so Dominic and I, here, let me turn this around the right way. So yes, it is very funny, guys, because this is what we made when we followed those instructions. And when it came out, I am not lying to you. At first skim, I was like, this is going to make the block. We're going to prove that ChatGPT can make quilt block patterns, and it's going to change the world. And what we proved is that it's going to get you 80% of the way there. And I bet you if we did surface area, this is probably 80% of that block, right? It's missing about 20% of the block. And it was about halfway through the video, we realized we didn't cut enough fabric, which is like step one. And we followed it to the T. And so, you know, this is definitely evolving. This is definitely changing. And ChatGPT is probably going to watch this video today, and it's probably going to watch the companion video, and it is going to learn, and it'll probably continue to get better the more videos like this that are produced. But this definitely was not what my expectation was. And so it just shows, even with AI in our lives, it is a companion to us. It aids the things we do and makes the things we do a little easier, but we will still always need that human element. I feel like with a pattern tester, perhaps ChatGPT could have iterated and got a little better. But you know, it's right there, guys. When it's got the basic structure. It can skim enough of a library of quilt patterns to know how to build a quilt pattern. Like, the pattern itself is textbook. The instructions that were given are like many, many patterns. And I even said in the video, when it came to constructing that pinwheel, like, those instructions are what we use to tell our estates detectives to put the 4 pieces together. And so it's got the structure there. It just has some minor nuances and tweaks that need to be changed. But Dominic and I were super excited. This was a ton of fun. I think we're going to continue to test this and maybe upload some blocks and kind of see what could possibly happen and what's going to spit out. If you guys have any experience with this, I would love to hear your comments. If you've used ChatGPT for anything quilting related, please put it in the comments. If you've used it to generate images for patterns, please put it in the comments and share with us. This is how we all learn. This is still such a new, like, consumer facing. It's only been 2.5 years. And the number of people that are using this is just so huge. We can all learn together. I am part of many AI groups where we're like, hey, did you know you could upload a file and it would do this? Hey, did you know you could do this? Hey, did you? And it is a lot of fun. And I think it's something that there's no need to have a fear. As we say when you're quilting, the first step is always the hardest step. And so even just trying it once is always going to be the hardest step, and it gets easier from there. And so that's my kind of image. That's my ChatGPT in a quilting box. Like I said, they just uploaded this ability to upload images. And so I know it's going to get better and stronger from there. It is exciting. It is exciting. I'll be interested to see in 6-9 months kind of what the patterns evolve into, to see how close it is. And I mean, it could literally open up so many doors for so many people, right? Not to say that pattern designers won't go away, but it'll be interesting. So, all right, go ahead and put your comments in if you have any experience using ChatGPT in the quilting world. And our question for you guys to enter to win a $25 gift card from our Cotton Cut shop for hanging with me to the end of the video is, if you could design a quilt pattern using artificial intelligence, what theme or inspiration would you choose? So when you're putting that prompt into ChatGPT, like I said, I had to give it a finished dimension. What would be the prompt? Create a quilt that's ... I would be interested to hear what you guys would put in there. And perhaps what we'll do, Dominic and I will skim through the comments. Not only will we pick a $25 gift card winner, but Dominic and I might actually test one, and we might actually get a video where we put your prompt in, it generates a quilt, and we get to actually make it. So that would be just a ridiculous amount of fun. So if you could use AI to generate any quilt pattern, what theme or inspiration would you choose? Find this video on Instagram, on YouTube, or on Facebook, and go ahead and put that into the comments, and we will go from there. Okay, so quick reminders at the end. Time is running out to prepay for Flyaway. It ships next Friday. Retreat signups are still open. And don't forget to like and share. I think so next week, since it is the day before Flyaway starts, we're going to have our show where we go over kind of what's in a box and how to sew Clue 1. That's a fantastic refresher for people that have been doing it for a long time. I know every time I go through and show kind of, this is a tip and trick here, this is a tip and trick here, people learn new things. But it's also, if this is your first PMQ with us, that video is going to be an amazing kind of kickstart. So when you get your first clue, you can hit the ground running without worrying about anything going wrong. All right, I think that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for spending the morning with us. I hope you enjoyed this. Definitely like and share and subscribe. And we will see you guys next week. Everyone have a great day, and we will see you soon. Bye now.
And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon. Bye now.